Welcome to the 7th session on my moment distribution method, and today we will discuss about analysis of non-sway frames. In the last session also we have discussed about analysis of non-sway frames, and today we will discuss the same one, non-sway frames, but we have a symmetrical portal frame. In the last session we have discussed about unsymmetrical portal frame where the geometry of the structure was not symmetrical, both geometry as well as loading, boundary conditions, everything was not symmetrical in the last session, in the last problem. But in this problem we are going to analyze a symmetrical portal frame. So symmetrical means the structure has to be symmetry both in geometry, boundary conditions and loading. So okay, here A and D both are fixed, and members AB as well as CD both are of same length 4 meter, and they are having same moment of inertia I, and BC member is subjected to symmetrical loading. Okay, so 40 kilonewton each are acting at same distances from each end. So it is first 40 is acting at 2 meter from the left end, and second 40 is acting at 2 meter from the right end. So the loading is also symmetrical apart from the geometry and boundary conditions. Okay, so hence we can declare that this type of structure is a non-sway frame. Okay, so because it is symmetrical by geometry, loading, boundary conditions and the sections of column members. If the column members having different sections or different lengths, then it will be a sway frame. Okay, so now because it is symmetrical in all respects, this becomes a non-sway frame. Okay, this is how you have to judge whether the given problem is a sway frame or a non-sway frame. Okay, so as usual we will first calculate the fixed end moments. So since AB and CD members are not subjected to any type of loading, so MFAB, MFBA, MFCD and MFDC, they are all equal to 0 because they are not subjected to any type of loading. Next we have to calculate MFBC, that is for the horizontal member. So it is subjected to two concentrated loadings. So we know that if you consider only one, it becomes an eccentric point load. Okay, so if you consider another one, again it becomes an eccentric point load. So therefore we have to apply the equation for eccentric point load twice, once for this first 40 kilonewton and second another time for the second 40 kilonewton. Okay, so let us take this one as W1 and the second load as W2. Okay, and the distances from the left end for W1, let it be A1 and B1, and for second load W2, let it be A2 and B2. Okay, so the equations to be used are, we have the standard equation as WAB square by L square. Since we have treated this as W1, so W1 A1 B1 square by L square minus again W2 A2 B2 square by L square. Okay, so W1 and W2 both are 40. Okay, A1 is 2 meters and B1 is 4 meters. Okay, whereas A2 is 4 meter and B2 is 2 meters. Okay, so let us substitute the values. So minus 40, that is W1, A1 is 2 and B1 is 4 square by 6 square, and then for the second loading 40, A2 is 4 meter and B2 is 2 meter. So 40 into 4 into 2 square by 6 square. So if you simplify this, it will be minus 53.33 kilonewton meter. Next, for MFCB, we have this equation for eccentric point load from the right end as WBA square by L square. So we have to apply twice for two loadings. Okay, so first for first loading it is W1 B1 A1 square by L square plus W2 B2 A2 square by L square. So let us substitute the values. So for first loading of 40 kilonewton, for this one B1 is 4 meters and A1 is 2 meters. So 40 into 4 into 2 square by 6 square plus W2 is 40, B2 is 2 meter and A2 is 4 meter. So 40 into 2 into 4 square by 6 square. So that will be also equal to plus 53.33 kilonewton. So you can observe these two are same, okay, only with the opposite sign because the loading is same. Okay, if it is having another value say of 60 kilonewton, then these values will change, okay, and that becomes a sway frame because the loading is not same in that case. Okay, so since it is same in this case, you should get the same values for MFBC as well as MFCB. So next step is to calculate the distribution factors. So we know that distribution factors are calculated only for the intermediate joints. So here B and C are the intermediate joints. Okay, so when you consider joint B, members meeting at B are BA and BC. When you consider joint C, members meeting at C are CB and CD. Okay, so the far ends A and D both are fixed, and for all intermediate spans we have the relative stiffness as I by L only. Okay, so now we will calculate the distribution factors. So it is calculated in the form of a table. So the first column is joint, second column is the members, third one is relative stiffness, total stiffness is mentioned in the fourth column, and the distribution factor is the ratio of relative stiffness to total stiffness is enumerated or calculated in the last column, that is fifth column. Okay, so first let us consider the first joint, that is B. Okay, so member under B, let us consider BA. So the relative stiffness is I by L. So moment of inertia for BA is 1I only, so I by 4, therefore it is 0.25 I. Next for BC member, I value, it is also I by L only, okay, because it's an intermediate span. Okay, and I value is 2I in this case, and length is 6 meters, so it is the ratio of 2I by 6. Therefore if you calculate it, it will be 0.33 I. So the total stiffness of joint B is the summation of relative stiffnesses of all the members meeting at joint B, so that is 0.25 I plus 0.33 I, that will be equal to 0.58 I. Okay, so distribution factor for BA is the ratio of 0.25 I to 0.58 I, so that will be equal to 0.43, and distribution factor for BC is the ratio of 0.33 I, relative stiffness for BC to total stiffness. So 0.33 I divided by 0.58 I, that will be equal to 0.57. Okay, so these are the distribution factors for members meeting at joint B. So next we will consider joint C. So the first member at C is CB. So same thing, I by L and 2I by 6. So the relative stiffness is 0.33 I. Next for CD member, so the far end D is fixed, therefore it is I by L only, and the relative stiffness is 1 by I by 4, that will be equal to 0.25 I, and the total of 0.33 and 0.25 I will be equal to 0.58 I, which is the total stiffness at joint C. Okay, so if you calculate the distribution factors, so 0.33 I to 0.58 I will be the distribution factor for CB member, which is equal to 0.57, and for CD member 0.25 I to 0.58 I, that will be equal to 0.43. So you can observe here, so these are also symmetrical. Okay, so if you draw a line at the axis of symmetry, okay, so whatever the member BC is going to have, the same distribution factor will be for CB, and for whatever the distribution factor for BA you are going to have, the same will be for CD as well. Okay, so here also, because of the symmetry, the distribution factors are also symmetrical. Okay, so next we'll move for the distribution of moments. So tabulate it as usual. Okay, the first row is the joints of the given structure. So the different joints are joint A, B, C and D. Okay, and in the second row we have got members meeting under different joints. Under A we have member AB, under B we have BA and BC, and under C we have CB and CD, and at D member DC is meeting at joint D. Okay, so next we will write the distribution factor in the next row. Distribution factor for BA 0.43, for BC 0.57, for CB again 0.57, and for CD 0.43. Okay, in the next row we will write the fixed moments. So MFAB is 0 because we don't have any loading on the member AB. Okay, so MFAB is 0 and BA is also 0. BC minus 53.33, CB plus 53.33, CD 0 and DC is 0. Okay, so now if you look into the extreme supports or boundary conditions, both A and D are fixed. Okay, so no need to balance the extreme joints first because both ends are fixed. So straight away we can go for balancing the intermediate joints, that is B and C. Okay, so next step is to balance joint B and C. So joint B is imbalanced by the summation of fixed end moments at BA and BC. So 0 minus 53.33, that will be equal to minus 53.33. So the imbalancing moment at joint B is minus 53.33. Therefore the balancing moment will be plus 53.33. So plus 53.33 into 0.43 will be equal to 22.93. Next, 53.33 into 0.57 will be equal to 30.398. Similarly, at joint C, it is imbalanced by 53.33 plus 0, that will be 53.33 only. So the imbalancing moment at joint C is plus 53.33. Therefore, the balancing moment will be minus 53.33. So minus 53.33 into 0.57 will be equal to minus 30.398, and minus 53.33 into 0.43 will be equal to minus 22.93. Okay, so as soon as you apply the balancing moments at BA as well as CD at joint B and joint C, half of the moments will be carried by the far ends. Okay, so the next step is to calculate the carry over moments. Okay, so the moments are carried from BA to AB. From BA to AB, how much? Half of this 22.93 will be carried by AB member. So that will be equal to 11.465. Okay, so next from BC to CB. So half of 30.398 will be 15.199. This is the moment carried by CB member. Okay, from BC it will be carried from BC to CB. Similarly, from CB to BC, the moment will be carried from CB to BC. So half of minus 30.398, that is minus 15.199, will be the moment carried by BC member from CB member. Next, it will be carried from CD to DC. Half of minus 22.93, that is minus 11.465, will be carried from CD to DC. This is the carry over step. Okay, so next, as soon as the moments are carried to joint B and C, again joint B and C gets imbalanced. Okay, so again next step is to balance joint B and C. So here the imbalancing moment at joint B is minus 15.199. Therefore balancing moment will be plus 15.199. So plus 15.199 into 0.43 will be equal to 6.535. Next 15.199 into 0.57 will be equal to 8.633. Okay, 8.633. So next at joint C, imbalancing moment is plus 15.199. Therefore balancing moment will be minus 15.199. So minus 15.199 into 0.57 will be equal to minus 8.663. Then minus 15.199 into 0.43 will be equal to minus 6.535. So that is the balancing of the joint B and C. Next again go for the next cycle of carryover. So moments are carried from BA to AB. So half of 6.535 will be equal to 3.267, and from it will be carried from BC to CB. Moments are carried from BC to CB. Half of 8.663 will be equal to 4.331. Similarly, from it will be carried from CB to BC. So that value will be half of minus 8.663. It will be equal to minus 4.331. Next, from the moments are carried from CD to DC. Half of minus 6.535 will be equal to minus 3.267. This is the carryover. Again, as you apply the carryover, as the moments are carried by the far ends, the joints gets imbalanced, and now the next step is to balance the imbalanced moments. Okay. So joint B is imbalanced by minus 4.331. So balancing moment will be plus 4.331. So 4.331 into 0.43 will be equal to 1.862. Next 4.331 into 0.57 will be equal to 2.468. Then at joint C, the imbalancing moment is plus 4.331. Therefore balancing moment will be minus 4.331. So minus 4.331 into 0.57 will be equal to minus 2.468, and minus 4.331 into 0.43 will be equal to minus 1.862. Okay. So again the next step is carry over from BA to AB. Half of 1.862 will be equal to 0.931. From BC to CB, half of 2.468 will be 1.234, and from CB to BC, half of minus 2.468 will be equal to minus 1.234, and half of minus 1.862 will be equal to minus 0.931. That is the moment carried by DC from CD. Okay. So to continue, let us continue the same distribution in the next slide. We will take the last row so that we can carry the calculations further. So the last row, whatever we have, this last row is repeated in the next slide. So the last column of the previous slide, last row of the previous slide is considered so that we can proceed with the further calculations. Okay. So again, joint B is imbalanced by minus 1.234. Therefore, the next step is to balance joint B and joint C. So imbalancing moment at joint B is minus 1.234. Therefore, balancing moment will be plus 1.234. So 1.234 into 0.43 will be equal to 0.53, and 1.234 into 0.57 will be equal to 0.7. Similarly, joint C is imbalanced by plus 1.234. Therefore, balancing moment will be minus 1.234. So minus 1.234 into 0.57 will be equal to minus 0.7, and minus 1.234 into 0.43 will be equal to minus 0.53. So as soon as the balancing moments are applied, moments are carried to the far ends. From BA to AB, half of 0.53 will be 0.265, and from BC to CB, half of 0.7 will be equal to 0.35, and that from CB to BC, half of minus 0.7 will be equal to minus 0.35, and from CD to DC, half of minus 0.53 will be equal to minus 0.265. Okay, so these are the carryover moments. So again joint B and C got imbalanced. So next step is balancing. Okay, so imbalancing moment at joint B is minus 0.35, therefore balancing moment will be plus 0.35. So plus 0.35 into 0.43 will be equal to 0.15, and 0.35 into 0.57 will be equal to 0.2. Similarly, joint C is imbalanced by plus 0.35, therefore balancing moment will be minus 0.35. So minus 0.35 into 0.57 will be minus 0.2, minus 0.35 into 0.43 will be equal to minus 0.15. So next, carry over from BA to AB, half of 0.15 will be equal to 0.075. From BC to CB, half of 0.2 will be equal to 0.1, and from CB to BC, half of minus 0.2 will be equal to minus 0.1, and from CD to DC, half of minus 0.15 will be equal to minus 0.075. So you cannot stop after carry over, you have to stop only after balancing. So let us balance joint B and C. So joint B is imbalanced by minus 0.1, therefore balancing moment will be plus 0.1. So 0.1 into 0.43 will be equal to 0.043, and 0.1 into 0.57 will be equal to 0.057. And imbalancing moment at C is 0.1, therefore balancing moment will be minus 0.1. So minus 0.1 into 0.57 will be equal to minus 0.057, and minus 0.1 into 0.43 will be equal to minus 0.043. So we have obtained 0.0 something as the balancing moments, so we can stop at this level. We can go for the calculation of final moments. So the final moments are the summation of all the distributing moments or distributed moments from the fixed end moments. We don't have any intermediate totaling at this junction in this problem, so we have to add all the values in each row from fixed end moments. Okay, so if you add all those values, we will obtain the value of MAB as plus 16, MBA plus 32, MBC minus 32, MCB plus 32, MCD minus 32, and that for MDC it is minus 16. So these are the support moments using which we have to calculate the support reactions, and we have to plot the bending moment diagram as well. Okay, so the next step is to calculate the support reactions. Okay, so the support reactions are calculated by considering each span separately. So first let us consider the horizontal member BC. Okay, so BC member along with the reactive components and the loading and the support moments are considered here. So apply the conditions of equilibrium. So first let us apply sigma Fy is equal to 0, which implies Rb plus Rc equals 40 plus 40 as 80 kilonewton. Okay, so next let us take moment of all the forces about B and equate it to 0. So that implies minus Rc, because this is inducing anti-clockwise moment about B, so therefore minus Rc into 6. Next this first 40 kilonewton, 40 into 2, and then second 40 into 4, plus 40 into 2 plus 40 into 4, then this clockwise couple of plus 32, and then this anti-clockwise couple of minus 32, anti-clockwise moment of minus 32. So equate it to 0, then you will obtain the value of Rc as 40 kilonewton. So if you substitute back into this equation, then Rb is also equal to 40 kilonewton. Okay, so next we will consider AB member, the vertical member AB. Okay, so this is the vertical member. Rb is acting in the downward direction, so the whatever the reaction is there, that will be acting as load on the vertical member. So let us consider HA in this direction. Okay, along with the support moments. Okay, Apply the equilibrium conditions. Sigma Fy is equal to 0, which implies plus Va minus Rb equals 0. That implies Va equals Rb equals 40 kilonewton. Next, apply sigma mb. Take moment of all the forces about B and equate it to 0. So that implies minus HA. This HA is inducing anticlockwise moment about B. Therefore, minus HA into 4. And then this clockwise moment of 32 plus 32. And then again this clockwise moment of plus 16. So plus 16. That is equal to 0. And the moments of VA and RB about B will be 0 because they are acting in line with B. Therefore, the moments induced by VA and RB will be 0. So that gives the value of HA as 12 kilonewton. Okay. So next we will consider the CD member. So consider the CD member along with the horizontal reaction HD in this direction and the reactive support moments. Okay. Apply sigma Fy is equal to 0, which implies Vd minus Rc equals 0. Therefore, Vd equals Rc equals 40 kilonewton. Next, take moment of all the forces about C, not B, about C equals 0. That implies this HD is inducing clockwise moment about C. Therefore, HD into plus HD into 4. And then we have an anticlockwise moment of 32. Therefore, minus 32. And another anticlockwise moment of 16. Therefore, minus 16. Equate it to 0 again, which gives a value of HD as 12 kilonewton. Okay. So, these are the support reactions. So, next we will plot the shear force diagram using these reactions. So to draw the shear force diagram, consider the base structure or consider the structure with the loading and the reactions. Okay. So BC, AB and CD member, okay, along with the reactions are shown in this figure. Okay. So to draw the shear force diagram, draw the base structure without loading and without the supports. Okay. So let us draw the shear force diagram for the horizontal member first. Shear force to the left of B 0, right of B we have a reaction of plus 40. So mark it above the baseline for 40 kilonewton. Next, let us take this as point E. Okay. So shear force to the left of E. Okay, so after right of E to left of E we don't have any forces, so therefore the shear force will be constant till that point. Then shear force to the right of E, we have a downward force of minus 40, so plus 40, we have a plus 40 here and then minus 40, that will be equal to 0. So therefore the line has to join the baseline here. Okay. Then after the right of E to left of F, let us consider this as F. Right of E to left of F, we don't have any forces. So therefore there will not be any shear force. That means it will be constant. So 0 is the value after right of E. So it will be 0 till left of E. Sorry, left of F. So right of F, shear force to the right of F, we have a downward force of 40 kilonewton. So mark it below the baseline for 40 kilonewton. Okay. So next, shear force to the right of F to left of C, we don't have any forces. Therefore, shear force will be constant till left of C. Next, shear force to the right of C, we have an upward reaction of RC as 40 kilonewton. Therefore, minus 40 plus 40, again it will be 0. So this will be 0. This is the shear force diagram for the horizontal member. Next, to draw the shear force diagram for the vertical members, as in the previous session we have discussed about how to consider the sign convention for vertical members, that is clockwise couples. If the forces are inducing clockwise couples, then the shear force is taken as positive and those shear forces are written to the right side of the vertical member. And if the forces are inducing anti-clockwise moment, then those forces are taken as negative shear forces and they are drawn to the left side of the vertical member. Okay, so these are the reactive components HE and HD. So for vertical members you have to consider the horizontal forces because these are the shearing forces. For horizontal member, vertical forces are the shearing forces, and for vertical member, horizontal forces are the shearing forces. Okay, so HE and HD are the shearing forces for member AB and CD. So to draw the shear force diagram for AB member, let us consider two equal and opposite forces of same magnitude at the beam line. Okay, so two equal, so one is in the plus x direction and the other one is in the negative x direction of same magnitude. So the net effect is 0, plus 12 minus 12, it will be 0. That is the principle of superposition. So we are adding a system of equilibrium to the existing force system, so that then there will not be any change in the existing force system. Okay, so we have added a force system of 12 kilonewton which is in equilibrium. Okay, so let us consider these two forces. So HA is also 12 and this is also 12. Okay, so these two forces are two equal and opposite and parallel forces. So these two forces are inducing what type of couple? They are inducing anti-clockwise couple. So therefore the shear force is negative for AB member. What is the magnitude of the shear force? It is equal to 12. So this is the shear force diagram for AB member. Similarly for CD member, let us consider this force and the HD force. These two are two equal, opposite and parallel forces. So these two are inducing clockwise couple. Therefore the shear force is positive in this case. Therefore we have to draw it to the right side of the vertical member. So this is the shear force diagram for the vertical member CD. Okay, so if you draw the positive and negatives, so this is the positive shear force for the beam line and this is the positive shear force for the vertical member, and these are the negative shear forces for horizontal as well as this vertical member. So this is the shear force diagram. In the next slide we will discuss how to draw the bending moment diagram and elastic curve. So to draw the bending moment diagram, consider each member with the support moments. So need not consider these loadings, only you have to consider the support moments. Okay, so AB is at anti-clockwise moment, BA again an anti-clockwise moment. Like this, only support moments you should consider to draw the support moment diagram. Use the thumb rules. Okay, so to draw the bending moment diagram, draw the base frame, okay, without loading and without the supports. Okay, so use the thumb rule. So here at end A, if you apply the thumb rule, the thumb is moving towards right side of the member, therefore mark it towards right. So first let us draw it for the horizontal member. Okay, so this MBC of 32 kilonewton meter, it is acting in the anti-clockwise direction. So the thumb is moving in the upward direction. So mark it above the baseline for 32 kilonewton meter. Similarly at CB, it is in the clockwise direction. So the right thumb is moving in the upward direction. So the mark it in the upward direction for 32 kilonewton meter. So let us join these two with the straight line. Okay, so because these both are having same magnitude of 32, so it will be a straight line. Okay, next we will draw it for the vertical member. So use the thumb rule at joint A. So the thumb is moving towards right side of the vertical member. The direction of thumb is moving towards right side of the vertical member. Therefore mark it towards right side for 16 kilonewton meter. Next at BA, so the thumb is moving towards left side of the vertical member. Okay, so the direction is moving towards left side of the vertical member, therefore mark it towards left side of the vertical member. So draw a line towards the left side of the vertical member. Okay, so now you join these 2 points like this. Okay, so this is the support moment diagram for AB member. So next we will draw it for CD member. So here the thumb is moving towards left side. At D, the thumb is moving towards left side. So mark it towards left side of the vertical member of 16 kilonewton meter. Next at CD, the thumb is moving towards right side of the vertical member. The thumb is moving towards right side of the vertical member. Therefore mark it towards right side of the vertical member. So for 32 kilonewton meter. So join these 2 points. Okay, so this is the support moment diagram for CD member. So this is the support moment diagram for the whole structure. So now we will superimpose it with the free bending moment diagram. So free bending moment diagram is to be drawn for the given loading, treating it as a simply supported beam. So since AB and CD, they are not subjected to any type of loading, therefore these 2 members will not be having any free bending moment diagram. Only BC member will be having a free bending moment diagram. Okay, so if you treat it as a simply supported beam, neglect these 2. Okay, so then the reactions will be 40 only. So bending moment at this point E will be 40 into 2, 80. Okay, so that will be a trapezoidal. Okay, so the shape of the bending moment diagram will be a trapezoidal. So if you treat it as a simply supported beam, so at this point the bending moment is 0, and at C also it is 0. So the reactions are 40. Okay, so 40 into 2, 80 at E. Next, if you come from right to left, bending moment at F, again for reaction at C is 40. So 40 into 2, again it is 80. So therefore these 2 are at the same level. Okay, so the magnitude is, it should have been 80 kilonewton, not 80 kilonewton meter, not 60. Please make this correction. It is 80 kilonewton meter. Okay, so these are the positive bending moments, and the support moments are the negative ones. The points where the support moment diagrams and these points cross each other, they are called as points of contraflexure. So this is the bending moment diagram. Okay, so please make this as 80 kilonewton meter. So next, to draw the elastic curve, consider the basic structure with the supports. Okay, so at the sagging, draw it at the mid span, the sagging bending moment will be dominating, and at the supports, hogging bending moment will be dominating. Okay, so this is the variation of elastic curve for this given problem. Okay, so this is how you should solve a symmetrical portal frame, symmetrical non-sway, because if the frame is symmetrical both by geometry, loading and boundary conditions, it will be a non-sway frame only. So for this non-sway frames and symmetrical non-sway frames, you can observe here all are symmetry. Okay, if you draw an axis of symmetry here, it will be a replica, it will be a mirror image. Both shear force, bending moment as well as the elastic curve, they all will be a mirror image of left side or the right side. Okay, so therefore this is how you should solve a non-sway frame, symmetrical non-sway frame. So this is for today's session. In the next class we will take up analysis of sway frames. Okay, wherein the frames are subjected to sway. We will analyze the sway frames in the next session. Thank you.